After quite some search, I've re-found what it was, along with its corresponding family could be. There's one just below the vent, just right of centre there. And there's one just more or less dead centre there. It's right on the perimeter of the long grass. These are all Stonechats. Ever since we've been managing the long grass here, we've been blessed with these little beauties. 2 in shot there. And you can see the other one flicking up a little bit higher now. See the other one to the right? Yeah, the other one's right behind it. 3 in shot momentarily there. Obviously they're hunting around in the breezy weather. Pretty blowy again last night. It's actually stopped raining for a few minutes. That one in view is definitely an adult. So at this sort of range, what can we say about how you identify a bird like this? It's small. You can see it's flicking its tail. In this instance, it's got quite a dark head, and overall at this range, brownish, buffish colours. You're going to identify it on behaviour less than on specific features. The way it's jumping around in the grass is typical of a chat, absolutely typical. The 2 in shot here, because of their dark heads, are indisputably adult birds, adult winter birds. Perhaps this has been a family the whole time. Perhaps they just like to winter in the same sort of areas together. They certainly like the long grass. Stunning little birds, chats. And not to say that whin-chat are a more attractive bird, but their facial features have different markings on them. And they make a nice little call as well. I've begun this exercise actually looking through the gulls, and I'm about to have another look. You can certainly hear plenty of black-headed gulls in the background. So I just wanted to give a little sample of the flavour of looking through black-headed gulls for a mid. Focus too much, just to give you a feel for. It's not even that many, it's probably well under 1,000. In relative terms, they're quite easy to look at in this case because they're facing us. More or less face on isn't always the best view to get, but nonetheless, those of you familiar with this, the front load have just gone up. Getting a bit freaked out by probably just kites, but we do get peregrines around here. And you literally have to go through gull by gull, adjusting the focus. If I haven't said this before, the thing in front here is the rafts that we would rather the common terns nest on, but there we go. So onwards, on, starting to thin out a bit now. It can be quite time consuming, and I'm sure I didn't coin the phrase gull blind. You know, I've heard the expression snow blind. Well, I think it is possible to go relatively gull blind after staring at thousands of black-headed gulls, or any gulls for that matter. It's fair to also say that when you do it, in most cases you don't have the luxury of a hide to sit in, and quite frequently the wind's blowing, it's very cold, your eyes are watering. Basically, all the things are against you. That's just the fun of birding. Just for a change of scene, a lesser black-backed gull has dropped in. I would love it to be a yellow-legged, but those yellow legs are just too yellow, and the grey is too dark. It's quite a smart bird, really, lesser black-back. But the truth of the matter is, as an inland breeding bird, we have a couple of pairs, 2 or 3 pairs. They, alongside the herring gulls, are devastating on our traditional wetland fringe breeders like moorhens and coots, because they will consume an entire family of very young chicks in 20 seconds with 4 or 5 swoops over. It's game over for the entire family in moments. And I think nationally we hear that they're actually becoming endangered. Anyone who knows me will tell you I'm extremely optimistic, even when it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Our little nature reserve, in fact the whole of Dinton, is pretty small in the grand scheme of things. You compare it to one reservoir, it probably has barely the footprint of Queen Mother Reservoir on the extreme east end of Berkshire. But nonetheless, it's relatively well watched when it's not so flooded you can't get in. And I get here as often as I can. And I just wanted to just pan along here, show you a handful of teal, and the Wigeon just relaxing on the water's edge. We've had some pretty good birds. They may read a list and find a way of showing a list of good things. Yeah, you have to be in it for the long haul to see these things, but I have been. I've been here, not every day because that's impossible, but I've been here an awful lot since year 2000, but I've been birding here since 1981, and that's of course knocking on for 40 years. And I think my total number of species is something like 204. I should know. I used to know all the time, but I've had some surprising additions in the last few years. My patch has been incredibly kind to me. I've seen some really surprising birds, and I've had the last couple of years amazing year lists, seeing things not that I wouldn't have ever guessed to get, but just pretty low expectation that they would happen. And there's me saying I'm optimistic. I am, but it's absolutely blown my optimism out of the water with just amazing, amazing things. By our standards, of course, everything has a context. If you're a person that goes to, or even lives on the coast, you will see masses more variety of species. If you live somewhere on a piece of coast where they get amazing rare birds, Cornwall, Norfolk, Kent, Isles of Scilly, Shetland, tons and tons of places. They'll all be vastly different from each other. And yes, some people will have the opportunity to see well over 200 species in a year. We get on average about 140, just over if you're lucky. And my record count in any one year is 138, and I've had several 137s as well. What's not cute about a moorhen? I'm going to walk up the bank. Yes, it is. They like edges. Always flicking their tails. Black line right up the middle of the white underside. Unmistakable. I'm going to zoom this up because I've been promising I'd try and get footage, and there it is at last. It's a male bullfinch doing what they do, nibbling on blossom. Yeah, admittedly it's pretty obscured, but you can see that pink contrasting grey back. It's back on at the moment, but it's going to move. But that was rather short-lived, I'm afraid. Opportunities will pop up a lot. They're around the car park field all the time. Well, folks, that's all I've got time for this morning. I'll see whether I can get out again later. Depends on how I feel, what the weather's doing. And Mum's birthday tomorrow, so happy birthday, Mum. And I'm Fraser Coddington. This is Find of the Day. Stay well, enjoy your birding. Bye for now.